You're listening to the smartest guys in marketing, the best show on the planet for client businesses to learn about traffic, funnels, sales, conversions, and marketing coolness. Chris and Taylor are the founders of Traffic and Funnels, a digital marketing consultancy helping you get paid clients from cold traffic daily. Now, here are your hosts, Chris and Taylor.
What up, guys? Taylor Welch and Chris Evans here with the smartest guys in marketing. Why every other podcast is a scam.
We're not going to get sued, are we?
No, because of course we mean that intellectually, not literally. But a lot of the things that people are teaching out there in regards to paid advertising, high-ticket client acquisition, funnels, it's just wrong. And it's complicated and it's convoluted and it's costing people a lot of money. And so we have a process that we're breaking down with everybody on how to actually grow their business in an enjoyable fashion and really give people control of their income again, which is what we're all about, right?
Yep.
So that's why we said that. So today we're talking about, by the way, you guys can't see Chris because this is an audio podcast, but dude, your hair is looking amazing.
Thanks, man.
I keep seeing you look sideways every couple of seconds, just like see it at different angles.
You guys don't know how much time and effort and money I've invested into my hair.
My wife is a hairstylist, and I got to say, sometimes I wonder if I should have gone to school to be a hairstylist. Because
never too late.
What are we talking about today?
We were talking about why thinking big is complete, total BS.
But what about what everybody says? The magic of thinking big.
It's all lies.
Let's break it down for us.
Yeah. So here's the thing. People have such big ideas about marketing, about their business. And until you're able to really break down your business in incremental parts, you will never be able to scale, especially if you're using paid traffic. So you have to start thinking small about your business to go big, right?
Yeah.
And this is something that has been like Bean. I just almost sound like a Canadian.
You want me to take over?
Bean, yeah. I've been hanging around Canadians way too much.
Yeah. Hey, my favorite thing that I ever hear, and I want you to talk about this because this is massive. When we talk to people, in fact, I just got an email about this the other day. People saying, I don't want to grow this offer because it can't scale. And then I say, oh, how much money are you making? $3,000 a month. I'm like, dude, you're so far into the future that you literally can't get yourself past this pothole that you're in. Because just because something can't scale past $300,000 a month doesn't mean you shouldn't just build it to $300,000 a month and then bolt something else on.
Yeah.
And I think what we're talking about on thinking big is you've got to think big sequentially.
Mm-hmm.
And if, Chris, you're out there thinking so big that it's like the things that are going to produce growth now, they're off the table, then we'll never grow.
Yep.
You know, when you say thinking small, you're not saying that people need to think low or they need to think small, but they need to think about the sequential place their business is at. Like for us right now, like our aim is to get to 15 million in the next 2 years, 15 million a year in revenue. And so the things that we're doing are all kind of stacked up behind that goal. All right. And if we were to be like, well, this activity won't be able to take us to 100 million, so we're not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Then we sacrifice a lot of growth in the meantime. So you got to ratchet down your thinking to be able to implement and achieve the steps necessary to get you to the next incremental step.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like if we went out and built a company like we were going to be at 100 million in 6 months, we'd obviously go bankrupt. Our decision making would be completely different. We would probably hire 100 people and, we would just tip over, as opposed to thinking, okay, where are we at now? And let's say we wanted to get to $50,000 a month in the next 60 days. What are we doing in the next 60 days to get us to that point? And then obviously we can stay very honed in and very focused on those small, consistent action steps that are going to get us to that amount of revenue in the next however many days. And then you do that pattern over and over to where you're able to hone in, focus, and grow on those certain levels that by 2 years down the road, you should be at your whatever the ultimate goal is.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I'm reading this book right now by Jim Collins, and it's called, it's called like Built to Last or something. And he goes through and he basically breaks down all of these mega successful companies, Southwest Airlines and Microsoft, and compares them to their lesser successful competitors. And one of the biggest differences that, Chris, you and I have talked about, because it's been a mind shift for us recently, is the consistent companies, they don't outpace even when the market's favorable. They'll stay consistent on a consistent growth pattern. And their competitors, when the markets are good, they're trying to go as big as they can. And it's the difference between maximum growth and optimal growth.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Completely.
And when you're trying to grow as fast as possible, you're always trying to like just go as fast as you can and as big as you can all the time. It leaves you very exposed as opposed to controlling the process. So for us, like one of our goals is to add 2 clients every single month. That might seem small for us. We'll get up to probably 6 figures a month in paid traffic spend this year. But our goal is to only add 2 clients a month. And it's because we're trying to not think so big that it topples us over, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, someone asked me the other day, how do you know when your goals are too big? What do you think about that?
That's a great question.
My answer, and I don't even know if this is something you would agree with, but my answer was like, I feel like our goals are too big when it starts chronically stressing us out, because then we can't enjoy the process. And if our goals are literally stressing us out all the time, then we're not going to be able to think properly and enjoy the process. And everything in your business comes back down to enjoying the process.
Yeah. Which was honestly, guys, like this is coming out of our experience. And that would be our tendency, because Taylor and I are both aggressive. We're both very competitive. And a lot of times we want to have big goals just to dominate the marketplace.
Yeah.
And so that's not necessarily a healthy thing, especially when you start talking about family life. And unfortunately, so many entrepreneurs end up getting divorced and having awful lives because they're dominated by their goals, as opposed to having healthy goals and being surrounded with people who are ahead of you and also maybe a little bit behind you, so you can find a good balance for you in your life, in your situation. Because I just want to be honest, guys, I don't want my wife to divorce me. And the other thing is we actually care about our clients. And so if we grow too fast, then that means our quality and how we're helping them will go down, which we don't want. So it's got to be on all tides, all boats have to rise in, one tide, right? So it's not just like we go out and we sign 30 new clients and then we can't keep up with quality and actually helping those people.
Yeah, definitely. Part of this comes back down to your environment too. Yeah.
Yeah.
If nobody in your environment is actually doing the things that you're putting on your goals to do, then your mind you've got this weird self-preservation thing that your mind's going to make it pretty difficult for you to like not be stressed by those goals.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that, we're in several masterminds surrounded by people who are hitting the same levels that we are. I think that's important. And that wasn't on our show notes to talk about, but part of this thinking big is like, it's an adaptation thing. In certain seasons, you got to think bigger. And in certain seasons, you got to be more protective. And your environment is going to help protect you and kind of keep you adaptable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so making sure, like, here's an actionable thing for you guys to write down is making sure that you're surrounded with the right people.
Well, don't write it down if you're driving. You're on the podcast, but yeah,
just make a mental note. For example, we are in several masterminds. So that's paid access to high level people. We have other friends, close friends who are very successful. So we're able to go to them if we're, feeling beat up and we don't want to go after our goals, or, just checking in with them on what their thoughts are, right? Just getting their advice. But also we have our, people who are very close to us, prime example, our wives, to make sure that we aren't going crazy and, self-sabotaging or abusing ourselves as entrepreneurs, which is very common. Like we could definitely work 80 hours a week, just to accomplish our goals, but it's not necessarily safe or healthy to do that. So make sure you are surrounding yourself with wise counsel, not poor-minded people. My wife has not necessarily ever made $500,000 a month, but she has a right mindset for me and things I need to hear to get balanced advice, and an alternative view. So you don't want to be in a place where everybody you're talking to is agreeing with everything you're saying.
Yeah, we don't agree on a lot of things.
Yeah.
And we're like, I feel like we have a really healthy partnership, but there are things that Chris will say, I think we should do this. And I'll say, I don't think we should do that. And we work through it. And that's healthy. That type of relationship is healthy for you guys to have. So you want to talk about morning formula?
Yeah, real quick. I just want to jump on one thing, just super quick.
Dude, jump on it.
This is kind of a tactical thing. Being able to incrementally break down and think small about your business and how we do it is, especially with our one simple funnel, is, we look at every pillar of our business. And I'm just going to give this to you guys really quickly. This is basically the system that we give to our clients. But it's looking at every stage of your business and how you're acquiring a client and being completely solid on what those numbers mean for your business. So, we're looking at how many people are clicking on our ads, how many people are opting in, how many people are attending our webinar, how many people are applying to talk to us, how many people are turning into clients, right? And so you're taking this big world view of, and you're seeing all these gurus from the, really top level view, and they're so successful. This is how you actually take it down to the studs to know, continue thinking small about your business, to know what's working, what's not, so that you can scale your business and improve the things that aren't working so well. So I wanted to hit that really quickly. There's a lot to uncover there, but I think that's an important part on the tactical side as well, that we should address.
Oh, that's a scam. That's BS.
You're a scam.
Just kidding. All right. Here's our morning formula, because we're talking about mindset. We're talking about thinking big versus thinking small versus thinking incrementally, sequentially. And so every morning, Chris and I, we teach this to our clients too, but we've done it for years, which we'll talk about later, because there's a principle there about making sure that you don't ever teach something that you don't know how to do. But this is our morning formula. We start every day this way. And if you're not careful, then you can be tossed around by the seasons of life and the different seasons of business and the struggles. Like, we've had a really rough time even recently with Facebook, and Chris heads up all of our traffic. And it's like, if we're not careful, then that can really affect other areas of our business if you don't have a morning process and a morning formula for going through. So you want me to just break this down, Chris? You have anything?
No, go ahead.
Anything specific?
Well, you have to have this.
You learned this. You learned this from me. So I didn't know if there's anything that I taught you that I need to teach them.
No.
See, guys, he admitted it. He learned it from me. So
wrong.
Not
wrong.
Okay. So this is a document. In fact, let's make this available for people if they leave a review.
Okay. So how do they get it?
We'll figure it out. If you leave a review, send us an email that you left a review with a screenshot of the review, and I'll email you a template for this morning formula doc. How's that?
Yeah, I like that.
Cool. So basically it starts at the top, and I've written out some vision at the very top, and it's like, Taylor Welch is a successful and highly respected marketer, entrepreneur. He and his business partner specialize in yada, yada, yada. I have a bit of our product plan, some of our income goals, and I'm writing this as if I've already hit them. And then there are some things like tenets or pillars that I want to represent my life and kind of represent how we do business on a day-to-day basis. And then I've got some pictures. It sounds kind of cheesy, but I'm telling you, there's nothing. Every time I put something on this morning formula, we achieve it. Am I lying, Chris? You can call me out, bro.
I mean, you don't have massive biceps yet, but.
Well, this guy is. Oh my gosh, dude. I do have massive biceps. I've got a picture of a guy who's really in good shape. It's a black man, and I want to look like him.
Taylor wants to be a black man.
I do. I was raised in Memphis, man. All my friends are black. Anyways, so I've got some pictures of things that I want to represent my life. For a long time, I had a Tesla on here, and that came true. We've got income goals that I've put on here. They've come true. Put a house on here not a long time ago, and we're getting that. And so when I'm going through this every morning, these goals are kind of becoming a part of me, and they're becoming real. And I achieve them automatically, because a lot of times what keeps you from achieving your goals is not thinking they're possible, maybe. And this kind of becomes, when I'm done reading through this every morning, I don't know about you, Chris, but I'm literally I could rip a tree out of the ground with my bare hands. I'm on fire. And then I've got some rules that I want to live my life by. One rule, I spend at least an hour every single day working on me personally, reading a book, studying, working on my goals, journaling, etc. 2, I spend 45 minutes to an hour, 5 to 6 days a week exercising. 3, I work from a list every single day. And before I leave work, I map out my list for the next day. I wake up at the same time every day at 5:30 a.m. It makes me consistent. Things that I want like to define my existence. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I've got some principles that I want to live my life by, which are different than rules because principles impact the way that I think. So like one of them is, this is one of my favorite from a guy named Kakich. If your purpose in life is security, you will be a failure. Security is the lowest form of happiness. That reminds me to push. It reminds me to make sure that I'm not just trying to protect everything. Producing results is more important than proving you're right. To get things done, try to understand others' frame, points of view, needs, then determine what is honest, fair, and effective and move forward accordingly. Just things like that. They're good, that I've read through them and they've made a difference in my life. And I've written them down and I read them every morning. And then I've got a section here that's theater of the mind. If you ever read Psycho-Cybernetics by Maximal, you'll kind of get this. And if you haven't, you got to go pick up the book. You got to read it. And this just outlines what I want my perfect day to look like. I got into the office at 5:30. Chris had coffee waiting on me, checked in and make sure I didn't need anything from him. Did my dry cleaning, things that a good secretary would.
Tesla.
Things that a good secretary would do. Chris, you're coming up for a raise here pretty soon too, man. So
you do that for me?
Yeah. And so
that was my joke first, by the way.
This is my morning formula. And this is kind of, Chris, you follow the same sort of thing, don't you? Or is yours a little different?
Yeah, it's similar. But I think, the thing for entrepreneurs is it is so easy every single day, like literally every day, to forget what happened yesterday and to get lost and to go off course. And so really what this is, guys, is like a recalibration to make sure that you're starting off on the right foot, the right path every single day. Because if not, if you make a slight turn, and you're trying to go to Nashville from Charlotte, you could end up in Canada.
Which would be the worst.
That would be literally the worst thing that could ever happen to you.
We love Canadians.
We love
we have staff that are from Canada. We just make fun of them.
Yeah. So you got to have this morning formula.
Yeah. It's super important.
So leave a review, send us a review on an email. We'll leave our email below on how to do that. And we're going to send this to you guys.
Yes. Next week, we're talking about sell. It's really important. If you don't like to sell, if you hate salesy BS, this is going to be like a life changer for you. We haven't really sold anything in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But we've done several $1 million in revenue. How?
By leading.
That's what we're going to teach you in the next episode. Ooh, did you like that hook right there, bro? I'm a copywriter. Nobody can stop me. All right, guys. Anything else?
Nope. Oh, don't forget the gift, the bundle.
The gift.
We'll give you that too.
Yeah, but to get
trafficandfunnels.com/gift, and then to get the morning formula, you'll have to email us, and we're going to send that to you manually.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. See you guys.
See ya.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.